Hey everybody, just me again, Wayne, and this is the first in what will probably be a very short series of videos. I'm going to mod my guitar. I've never modded a guitar before, and in fact I've always kind of steered clear of working on my guitars because I didn't want to screw anything up. But I thought, what the hell, no time like the present. And I got a guitar that's pretty inexpensive, but that I think shows a lot of promise. I got one of these. An Indio Cali Classic. Now, if you'll see the review that I did of one of these guitars a couple of months ago, you'll note I was pretty impressed. I thought it played pretty well, thought it sounded pretty good. And as I'm making this video right now, it's early February. These things are going for about 160, but I managed to get this one for about 99. So I got a good price on it. And I was inspired to do this modding by Darrell Braun. Not him personally, but he has a channel, Darrell Braun Guitar, and a very knowledgeable guy. He talks about guitars, works on guitars, and so forth. And a little over a year ago, he did a video about upgrading this exact guitar. And right before that, he did a review of this exact guitar. Well, not the exact one that I have, but the same model. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, I'll put a link to Darrell Braun's channel and those videos in particular in the description of this one. So you can go there and check that out. If you want to see how to mod your guitar, how to do what I'm trying to do, go watch his videos, okay? Because mine's probably going to be a comedy of errors. I'm not planning for it to be that way, but I'm just not that good at these things, so we'll see how it goes. I got a new trem system, and I got some new pickups to put in it. I want to swap out the cheap trem system that it comes with for a Wilkinson two-post knife edge trem system. I've just read good things about those, so I'm going to try that. And I want to take out the 3 single coils the guitar has now and put in a couple of humbuckers and a single coil. I had a Dave Murray black Strat kind of thing in mind when I decided to do this. Dave Murray from Iron Maiden, but I'm sure you know that. But as you can probably tell from the way I'm dressed, it's cold as hell, cold as the ninth circle of hell where I'm at now in Missouri. So I don't want to have to go outside in the sub-zero temperature and strip all the paint off and paint it and let it dry and then paint it again and let it dry again and then apply the varnish and let that dry and so forth. Takes a lot of time, it's cold outside, and I'm just about as bad at painting as I am at soldering. So what the hell, we'll go for a Dave Murray blue Strat vibe instead. Now, I don't have the exact pickups that Dave Murray was using in his classic black Strat. In fact, I have things that are probably substantially different than that. But anyway, I just thought I'd let you know where I was coming from when I first decided to do this. So, okay, this is going to take a couple of videos, maybe 3. And if you don't know anything about modding guitars either, please watch along and take notes about all the things that I screw up. So when you decide to mod your guitar, you can do a better job than I will probably do. But okay, wish me luck. Here we go. I am going to upgrade this here Indio Cali Classic guitar. Right now we're taking off the rear plate and we're going to see about changing the trem system. Got the back plate off, which was, easy, just removing 6 screws. And I guess I was prepared for this because I watched Darrell Braun's video about doing exactly this thing on exactly this guitar. But wow, that is a chintzy looking trem system. Look at how narrow that block is. Wow, crazy. Anyway, so we will clip the ground, and wait a minute, we might not even have to clip the ground. Is that thing just screwed on there? No, it's not screwed on there. It's just soldered with a huge enough blob of solder to make it look like the head of a screw. Well, son of a gun. So I've clipped the ground, and I'm going to swap out this 6-screw tremolo for a 2-screw knife edge Wilkinson trem system. So this could be a bit of an adventure. We got to loosen up these screws on the claw enough that we can get the springs off and actually get this old tremolo out of there. And doing this while holding my phone to record this with one hand is just about as handy as you'd think. Ah, success. Got one out. And there's two. Let's see if we can get out. Monster spring number 3 here. Hey, we did it. Huzzah. Now we'll go around to the front, and we'll just take the screws, these 6 out of here. And yeah, wow, pulled out the old tremolo block here, and look at that. My goodness, that is not a thick block at all. So the old trem system came out, and we have this fabulous Wilkinson 2-post trem system to put in there. Got it through Music Lily, and I know folks have, there are varying opinions about Music Lily, but I've gotten a few things from them and haven't had any real problem. But we are running into our first snafu here, which is not Music Lily's fault. Okay, see how that drops right in there? How awesome is that? Look at that. That trem system even just, comes right in the old gap of the pick guard there. But oh my goodness, look. Yaha, yes, we need new screw holes. So that's pretty cool. Now, over on this side, it doesn't really matter because this, that's narrow there specifically, I think, so that you can put your big new screw hole, kind of anywhere in there and it'll still be fine. Over here is going to be a little trickier though, because we're going to have to drill a hole right there that's going to partially touch on a previous smaller hole. So that could be tricksy. All right, old chintzy trem system taken out, including the claw. And yes, you can see from the front that I let my impatience kind of get ahead of me a little bit. I've already taken off the pick guard just to look at the guts underneath, and they look about as great as you'd think. And yeah, so now we're going to have to drill us a brand new hole for the 2 posts, for the 2-post Wilkinson trem system. One right there, and we'll just enlarge this existing hole over here for the second one. Okay, pick guard is off, and while it's off, we will just go ahead and pull out the existing electronics. I got a new harness from Guitar Fetish that is all set for a single coil, which we already have one here, and a couple of humbuckers, which are just awaiting. Okay, now since I've got a whole new harness, we don't really have to worry about undoing any of these things carefully, except for the 2 wires here that go into our output jack. So what we'll do is we've got our soldering gun here, and I'm not good at soldering, but what we'll do is apply just enough heat at the ends for that existing solder to soften up, and we can pull those wires out. And this is why it's important to do this kind of thing on a highly flammable surface, like an essentially fiberglass blanket, like I'm doing here.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, hi, sweetheart. Okay. Well, what we might do is move this to a less flammable surface. That's just a thought. So there she be, the Indio Cali Classic, with all the guts and everything taken out. Even have the logo scrubbed off there so I can invent something cool to put up there. Now, I'm not changing the tuners because I don't have a set of tuners, and I don't want to buy a set. And on the other of these guitars that I played, the tuners work just fine. So we're going to assume that these will work just fine for the moment also. Anyway, that is it. Naked, ready to be dressed up again. Now, while I have the guitar naked, as it were, got the strings off, I'm going to add a little graphite to each of these slots up here on this cheap plastic nut, just to make them a little bit slicker. So using the tremolo will be just a little bit nicer, and the strings won't catch maybe quite so much as they would without the graphite, the lubricant, as it were. Okay, so in an effort to determine how little drilling and such I can do, what I've got here is I took the old trem system and I just set it in there, lined it up with the holes, and then I stood the new one that I'm going to use right up on the back of it. And I'm just eyeballing this But it looks as though things actually line up pretty well, so that hopefully if, well, it looks like maybe I'll just be able to enlarge that hole rather than having to make the hole over a little bit as I had thought. No, as it turns out, that's not going to work. Taking a look at this new trim system, there's where our string's going to come up, and you see it's going to come up just a little bit to the side, or right at the side of the where the post would be. Looking at the old trim system, you can see that the string would come up and go directly over that screw. So we are going to have to make a new hole, as it turns out. We'll get this thing lined up here so that the strings, or the, what do you call these, saddles? Let's say they're called saddles. So that they are lined up with the appropriate holes. And then, why is this looking weird on my phone? Oh, because the lens is on the other side of the damn phone. Well, there you go. Okay, so we've got the trim lined up here so that the saddles are, lined up with the 6 holes that were in there before. And we are going to have to drill a hole kind of just to the side here. So I'm pretty excited about that, as you can imagine. And there we have it, the 2 posts for the new trim system. Drilled holes to the appropriate depth, used a big rubber mallet and hammered those things in, and as you can see, it just chipped the shit out of the paint around the posts. But this is why we do our first mods on a cheap guitar rather than an expensive one. Next step, see how well the trim actually goes in there. Huzzah! Fits right on there, the base of the trim, right there up against the posts, ready for those to be tightened down. There we are. We got the trim in there. We got the new claw attached and screwed back pretty well. And we take a look at the front of this beast here. We have got our new Wilkinson trim in there, and yes, look at all that chip paint, ugly as shit, but we'll worry about those cosmetics here once we get the thing functional.